There it is. Okay, so this is our 8th Sasensei SID event. SID stands for Sasensei International Dojo. And today we're fortunate to have Ashna Sharma joining us to talk about SAS AML and excess of expectation scenarios. So it sounds super interesting. Yeah, please take it away.
Thank you, Alan. Hi, everyone. So this is Ashna, and I would just give one brief the description about myself. So I've been working in SaaS compliance domain for almost 5.5 years, and today we are going to discuss about excess of expectation scenarios. Yeah. So I'm not sure about the background of everybody, so I'll just give you a brief idea about what AML is and what SaaS AML is. Okay, and then we'll go ahead with the presentation. So when we're talking about AML is nothing but anti-money laundering. Okay, so we all know that the main source of all the terrorist activities, all the drug trafficking is the money laundered across borders globally. Okay, so in AML, in anti-money laundering, what we do is we basically try to track these kind of money laundering activities and report them to the central banks or even the financial institutions. And then ultimately, we flag those customers going forward to be monitored for any such activities in future. So even as a result of if anybody is reported as part of anti-money laundering, they even are basically boycotted from banks to create accounts with the banks in future as well. So that is what anti-money laundering is about. And in SAS, with the help of compliance experts, we have a lot of scenarios which we have created, which are nothing but the behavior of people who do money laundering. We try to track that behavior in some way or the other. Okay, so that can be a trend of transactions, that can be a behavior of a customer, or their relation with some sanctioned list customer or watch list customer or politically exposed customer. So these are the things which basically comprise AML. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about excess of expectation scenario. And what we are going to cover here is what is the scenario, what is its application in banking space, what are the prerequisites for running this particular scenario, and what are the rules which are there in this particular scenario with some examples. Okay, so as the name suggests, excess of expectation scenarios, it simply means what is expected out of a customer, and if that particular customer is doing something which is not expected from him, or he is doing something more than what is expected from him. That is what these scenarios are. So these scenarios are based on customer profiles, because we need to set the expectations, then only we'll be able to say whether it's excess of the expectation or not. Okay, so in this particular scenario, what bank does is, or any financial institution or any client which we have for SAS, what they do is they create customer profiles, and that can be created based on two things. Either the customer gives his KYC information, which is know your customer information, that what is his salary, what is his monthly deposits, what is his monthly withdrawals, the count of it, all these things. Or what we do is we compute all these values based on the transactions which he has done till date. So let's say if a particular person is a customer with a bank for 3 months or 4 months or 5 months, then based on this, his history of transactions of last 3, 4, 5 months, the bank creates a customer profile. So we are going to discuss in detail these things in next slide. So there are particularly 6 rules which SAS has for excess of expectation, where they track deposit amounts, withdrawal amounts, deposit count, withdrawal count, and overall account activity, plus high velocity funds transfer in excess of expectation. So when we are talking about the application in banking space, I think we have covered almost all of it. So for individual customers, we track simple debits, credits for that particular customer. And when it comes to corporate banking, let's say, so there we track their credit turnovers, debit turnovers, even the transactions of the power of authority people of that particular company, let's say shareholders, CEOs, managing directors of any particular company, their transactions or their turnovers are also being monitored as part of excess of expectation scenarios. Okay, so prerequisites for running the scenario. So when we say we want to run excess of expectation, which gives us a deeper insight whether the customer has deviated from his profile or not. So for that, one very basic requirement is we need the profile information of any particular customer. Okay, so on every month end, we have this account profile table, which is a fact table where we insert values like total credits for that particular customer in that month, total debits, which is the largest credit, let's say, which he did in last particular month, or which is the largest credit amount which he deposited in his particular account in last 1 month. And all these values are part of account profile facts, which in turn are used to calculate account analysis DIM. Account analysis DIM is simply but analysis of all these parameters and ultimately devising some expected values, some behavioral values for that particular customer on which we run these particular scenarios. Okay, so now we discuss about some of the columns which are part of this particular table, which are prerequisites for running our expectation scenarios. So I'll just walk you through all these things. So what's just expected credit ceiling amount? Okay, so this is the amount which we set as an expectation for the next month of that for particular that customer. So in this, what we do is we pick up our account profile table. We check the largest amounts which have been credited in, let's say, last 5 months. I'm taking this duration. We can change this duration as per our requirement. So I'm taking an example of 5 months. So for 5 months, let's say I've taken the largest amounts which have been done. Then I take out the second largest single credit amount which has been done in 5 months, and then I store it as the expected credit ceiling amount. Then we come to incoming amount or expected credit amount. It is computed as the total credit, average of total credit amount in last 5 months from account profile fact. And we add second highest total monthly in the last 5 months, and then we take the average of it basically. Then comes the debit ceiling amount, which is again the second largest debit which they have done in last 5 months. Then we compute the outgoing amount, which is withdrawal amount. That is also then we take the average of total debits which have been done in the last 5 months, plus we add the second largest total monthly for that particular customer, and we take the average of it. In the similar way, we compute the incoming counts as well for the particular customer for a debit as well as credit. Then next comes our increased behavior credit amount. Okay, so this is a little bit of a tricky value. What we do in this particular thing is first we have to check whether there has been increase or not. So what we first thing is in this account profile, we check which particular in this recent month whether the transactions which have been done are having the highest value. For example, if I am taking the total credit amount, so whether the total credit amount for the latest month is the maximum or not. If it is maximum, then I check the second condition, that whether this is greater than 1.5 times the monthly average, which has been there for the last, let's say, 3 months or 4 months. If I'm convinced that these two conditions are fulfilled, then I take the value as maximum of 1.5 times the monthly average or the second highest credit amount. So out of these two, whatever is the maximum, I insert that value as the increased behavior credit amount. But let's say my first two conditions are not fulfilled. That means if this month's total credit amount is not the highest one, or it does not fulfill the condition of greater than 1.5 times the monthly average, then I insert 0 as a value in this particular column. That means there has been no increased behavior for that particular customer in this particular month. So similar conditions go for credit count, debit amount, and debit count. We check whether the recent totals are the maximum ones and greater than the monthly average, 1.5 times the monthly average. If these conditions are true, then we take the next step. Otherwise, we assign 0 to that particular column. So once we have calculated all these values and inserted them in our account analysis them table, then we move to running the scenario. So now we'll discuss the scenario logic based on the values which we have computed. So first I'm going to discuss about 86 and 87 scenario. So in this 86 and 87 scenario, what we do is we check whether the total credits or debits or single credit or debit amount is unusually large as compared to the expected values or the normal values of that particular customer. So what we do is we already have our expected values stored in our analysis system. Now, based on the transactions of this particular month, let's say September, I take out the total values for that particular month and also the single largest value. And if any of these values exceed your expected values, then an alert is triggered. So 86 is for credit and 87 is for debit. So now we move to 88 and 89. These are on the count of debits and count of credits which have been done in this particular month as compared to the expected values. So in this, we see if the account's total number of deposits or withdrawals are more than or unusually large as compared to the normal activity. Then comes scenario 90, in which we check whether this particular account has been maintaining an increased behavior or increase in total amounts over a 2-month period of time. So why there is 2-month period? Because you can see when we were computing the logic for increased behavior values, if for this particular month there is no increased value, then ultimately this scenario will not work because the values would be 0. Since last month there was no increase, so I'm not going to track this month's behavior. But let's say in last month there was an increase, then ultimately in the second month, I'm going to compute the relation of the increase in that particular month with respect to the increased behavior values which are populated in account analysis system. So ultimately in this particular thing, we track all the values, credits, debits, amounts, as well as counts. And if any of these particular conditions fulfill or exceed the threshold, then ultimately an alert is triggered for scenario 90. Now next comes scenario 91. When we are talking about scenario 91, in this we track whether on a short period of time, unusually a high volume of credit was done to a particular account, which is deviation from its expected value, and it got withdrawn as well. Let's say 90 to 100% or maybe 110% of that particular credit amount was withdrawn from that particular account in that short span of time, let's say 5 days or 7 days. Then this particular scenario triggers an alert. So this is the basic idea about what all these scenarios do. So I have kept some examples. So I have created a data where I've already pre-populated values for account analysis system. As you can see, I have already populated the expected incoming amount, outgoing amount, expected count for incoming, outgoing count, behavioral amount, as well as ceiling credit amount. That means the highest expected credit which is expected from a particular kind customer, and similarly the debit amount and the last activity date also we have kept. So this is a typical structure of account analysis system. Then I have taken, for a current month, I have taken the transaction totals. So the let's say I computed the analysis then based on May, June, and July data, and in August the total transactions which came in are as given in the table. Now, when I run these particular scenarios on 31st of August, let's say end of day, what happens is I have some predefined parameters which are specific to clients. Actually, clients can change the values for these particular uh, scenarios. So these are the parameters which are defined, which are nothing but thresholds which are given by any client for a particular type of customer, or a company or anything. So we have defined these values. Now, what exactly this logic says is, if actual amount of that particular month divided by expected amount, which is given in our analysis table, into 100. That is basically we are taking out the percentage of actual amount to expected amount. If this particular percentage is greater than the threshold given in our parameters, which is, as you can see, for scenario 86, we have taken minimum percentage of expected credit is 150%. Okay. Or if a single amount against credit ceiling in 200, that is, again, we are taking percentage of actual single amount in expected ceiling credit amount. And if this particular percentage is greater than the minimum value, which is given as 150%, then ultimately this particular scenario will trigger the alert. So as you can see, if I take the percentage of total credit, which is 73,000, against the total incoming amount, which is 14,000, it is approximately 500% increase. So ultimately, this is the match in first condition only. But if you can see the second condition as well, where I'm taking single maximum credit amount is 24,000 against the credit ceiling amount, which is 8,000, then also it is approximately 300%, which is again breaching my threshold for 150%. So ultimately, for the given data which I have for the customer or the account number, there is a match, and the scenario 86 will trigger an alert for this particular customer showing unusual behavior as per the expected values. So since I have done this calculation for 86, we can do the similar calculation for 87 as well, which is nothing but the debit values. So if I want to check the debit values as well, let's say the total debit amount is 26,000 and the expected outgoing amount is 12,000. So if I take the percentage, it will be somewhere more than 200%, which is again, if I take the parameter value to be 150, it will again trigger an alert. Also, if you take maximum debit amount, which is 14,000 against the maximum, which was 4,500, then again, it will be a match. So we can say 86 and 87 will be triggered for this particular customer. Now let's check for 89 scenario. 89 scenario was nothing but count percentage. What is the actual count against the expected count? And if we take that percentage, if it is greater than the parameter value given, then it's a match. Otherwise, it's not a match. So for if this particular case, if I take 89, which is a debit scenario, I take the debit count, which is 14. And what is the expected outgoing count? That is 12. So if I take the percentage of 14 into 12, it will be somewhere around 105%, which is less than our 150, which is the threshold for this particular scenario. That is why this particular scenario will not trigger an alert for 89 scenario. But if I take the counterpart of 89, which is 88, which is credit scenario, and if you check the credit count, so credit count is 13, and if the expected count is 8, and if I take the percentage, it will be somewhere around 160%. Again, there will be a match, because if I take the threshold to 150, then it will trigger an alert. So ideally for this particular customer, 86 will be triggered, 87 will be triggered, and 88 will be triggered. 89 will not be triggered for this particular customer. So these are the three scenarios which will trigger an alert for this particular customer. Let's check for 90 as well. As I told you that when I'm talking about increased behavior, it has to be for consecutive 2 months. And let's say in this particular calculation, what I've done, the increased behavior amount has come out to be 0 because there was no increase for that particular month with respect to the previous month. I have the calculations in another Excel as well. I'll share that as well. But because of the time restrictions, I've not put all the computations over here. So since this particular customer does not have an increased behavior over 2 months, so this particular scenario 90 will not trigger an alert, because if you see increased behavior amount, if 0 is 0 for any particular customer, then it does not trigger an alert. But let's say for this particular month, what we have taken the values, if I consider these values, then probably in the next month, then I have consistent increase in the values of the customer, transaction values of the customer, then ultimately I think we will see an alert for 90 as well. I have attached the Excel as well in this particular Excel to check the computations of account analysis in which we have done. Also, the transactions are there in this Excel from where I have taken the total values. So you guys can check that later on and let me know if you have any doubts. I think that's all from my side. You guys can ask questions if you have anything.
Thanks very much. Has anybody got any questions? You should be able to unmute yourself, or feel free to ask something in the chat. I'll ask a question. Which SaaS tools did you use to produce this?
Okay, so when we are doing this, this particular thing we have done from EG only. But when we are using for a client, we generally have done it on SaaS 7.1, SaaS KML 7.1, which already has these scenarios inbuilt in them. And we just pass the data into that. And ultimately, based on the thresholds, whatever the client provides, the alerts are generated. And these scenarios are nothing but SaaS codes. Scenario codes are nothing but SaaS codes, and they are scheduled at a particular time to run in a particular, let's say, day end. And ultimately, those SaaS codes get triggered once we run the alert generation process, and they take up the data from all these tables, calculate the totals, and then ultimately they produce the results.
Got it. Great stuff. So I don't see any more questions from anybody in the chat. So I'll go ahead and stop the recording. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you all. Bye.